What we have here is a chicken with the guts inside of it. We need to get them out. This is a hen, and we retained the feet, peeled them, and retained the head for the stock pot. So I can just cut the head off and put it in the goodie tub. And for an old laying hen like this, I like to leave the feet on because I tend to cook it in a low and slow manner, which would extract all of the salubrious gelatin from the feet and make a wonderful sauce. But just so you all can see how to remove a chicken foot, I will take them off of this one. You can hyperextend the leg, more or less like this, and you see two little bumps, which is where the leg bone and the, this foot bone here meet. And you cut right in between them, and it starts to open up, like that. You can cut it free. And there's your chicken foot. And these are the epitome of toughness, so low and slow braising for those guys. You can even, brown them a little bit in a skillet after you braise them for about 45 minutes to an hour, and they will be chewy and sweet and delicious. Gnaw the little meat off the bone. All right, so the thing about laying hens is that they tend to be full of embryonic eggs, which makes this more messy and a little more tedious than with broilers or young roasting birds. And so I'll try to do this so you all can see. And I pinch right here first. I can tell it's full of fat because she's a laying hen. And that there is the vent. That there is the breastbone. And I'm going to go right about in betwixt, right in between them. And I pinch this wise, and I use the tip of my knife to go in like that, with the blade facing outward to minimize the chance of puncturing an intestine. And then I get my fingers in there, and I'm going to open this up and stretch it out. And so you can see her, I guess that would be the oviduct, where she has lots of embryonic eggs. That's an egg white in there. And that's the inside. That's gut town. And more than any other chickens, laying hens are going to be possessed of this lovely yellow fat that when rendered becomes schmaltz, and it's absolutely amazing. And so I'm going to put my hand in here, and I start by raking off everything that is clinging to the back, the underside of the breastbone. And I'm going to get the gizzard out first. So the gizzard is surrounded in fat. You can't see it right now. I can just feel it. It's a really hard, muscular ball. That is where they do all of their chewing on account of the fact that they don't have teeth. Most of the chewing happens here and in the crop in their neck. And so now that I've kind of got their gizzard out, there's enough room for me to get the rest of my hand in there. Oh, there's an egg in there. And gingerly lift everything else out. There's an egg, fully formed. She was going to lay that probably in the morning or something. And I am raking my hand down along the spine, trying to get all these embryonic eggs and intestines and the whole dealio out of there like that. And there's the yolk. Many yolks. And I'm going to scrape in and make a claw and pull out. And the livers on laying hens tend to be real fragile because they are so fatty. And so it's easy to kind of shred them, as you can see, but that also makes them extraordinarily delicious. That yellow pigment is fat, so their laying hen livers are just a treat. This is the heart. Put that in the goodie bin. And when I get the liver, I kind of make a claw around it. That is the bile sac or the gallbladder. And I want that to stay with the guts and not come with the liver. So I'll pull, and when you pull like that, you end up leaving behind the tougher ducting on the liver, which makes this ideal for cooking just a little bit in a frying pan and then whizzing up in a food processor for your pate spread. All right, so now I've got everything out of there. except for the esophagus, which runs from this gizzard all the way up here and out to where the head would be. And so I put my finger in there and I use it to break all of the fascia that is holding the esophagus to this neck skin. Now the thing about this is it's likely to rip, because this is a laying hen and not a broiler, as I tug on it. Yeah, I think it did. All right, so on a broiler you can tug on that and you'll bring the crop with it. And the crop is a sack of rocks that work in lieu of teeth on this beaked animal. And you can find that by peeling back this skin on the neck. And really the only reason to remove this is because there's rocks in it and like whole grains. This one looks relatively empty, but I am just peeling it off of that skin, flesh, or that skin. There it is. And this is the sac that was connected to the esophagus that holds rocks and such. All right, then we can come back to this end. You can see here's the vent where everything comes out. There's only one exit portal on chickens. And I'm going to cut just in between, right where the vent meets the tail, which is way up here like that, in kind of a smiley face thing, like that. And then I'm going to put my hand in the original cut, poke it out of this one, and I'm going to put my middle finger in the vent, like that, and pull my hand down, like that. Now I can cut my finger free. And in doing so, I am removing the vent, the puckered skin of the vent, as you can see there. And that's just a nifty little trick that enables me to retain a flap of skin here into which I can situate the legs. And I'll show you what I mean. So when you go to harvest your laying hens, this is what you're dealing with. Yolks, fat, everywhere. Mushy livers, a messy table after each one. You don't have to deal with this with broilers or roasters, the young chickens, none of this. So you shouldn't be hard on yourself if you have experience, killing 100 broilers in a day, no problem, be done by 4 o'clock, and then coming to the laying hens and be like, I can only do 13. And it's because of this. You're just rinsing, constantly rinsing, because it's a much more messy proposition. So I rinse my hands off. I'm going to show you how before I finish up and clean the carcass, we'll save the embryonic eggs. Those are delicious, the ones that didn't break. I'm going to save this fat, which can just be peeled off. And if you're doing, even like just 10 laying hens, you'll have a significant amount of this stuff. And it is awesome. Schmaltz, so delicious. And in doing that, I kind of unearth the gizzard here. And with the gizzard, I'm going to cut off the esophagus. Where it connects to the intestine, that's much more delicate, so it rips off. And then you take the gizzard to harvest it, and I hold it upwise. And I'm going to cut down just until we get into the interior where all of the partially digested goodies are. And then you can open it up. You can see she's been nibbling grass. She's got rocks in there because she doesn't have teeth in her mouth. And that's how she chews stuff. You can dump that out. And then you can peel this inner lining of the stomach, of the gizzard. As you can see, that will peel right off. And there you have a cleaned gizzard. I'll give it one final rinse here. And between that and the neck and the liver and the heart, you've got your giblets. Then we can take the carcass and spray it down. Get all that yolk and blood off of there. And I like to spray the inside real good. Kind of high pressure until you can see the water is running almost clear. Spray all the yolk off my table or else this bird will be slimy. And then, because we left this little strip here, you can actually tuck the legs in there like that. So that's kind of the advantage of that little step. The advantage being prettiness. And then you can take the wing tips, fold them in behind the neck. Just like that. And if you wanted to, you could come with a cleaver and chop off the neck, or you can get a good grip on it, like with a towel, and twist, and you'll be able to yank it right out of there. But it's a laying hen, so this is all for braising anyway. And anything that is tough, with lots of collagen and connective tissue like the neck, will only add to the wonderful flavor of the broth and the juice in which it is cooked. So that's how you eviscerate a laying hen. Beautiful. Now all she needs is a pot and some cured pork fat, carrots, onions, and celery, broth, red wine. Hey you get down, Jumbly. Look out. Hey, thanks for watching. To dive deeper into more Meatsmith membership content, click up there. To support us on Patreon, look down there and click the link in the profile. To subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified of more videos, and then we've got some more right back there behind me. Thanks.